All right, what's going on YouTube? This is BoxingWave. I'm just going to do a quick breakdown of Luis Ortiz against Charles Martin. It's going to be this weekend, this Saturday. PBC pay-per-view, $39.99. Won't be able to cover the fight this weekend, y'all. I'm not going to be able to do live commentary, but if something changes, I'm trying to make things work, maybe I'll jump on here because I am kind of looking forward to this card. I don't like the fact that it's a pay-per-view, though. I'm really not feeling that. It's been way too many pay-per-views lately, especially from the PBC. I think it's a bad timing for that kind of pay-per-view too. We just had Christmas the other day. I'm sure everybody's broke from buying gifts, and it just, the timing is off. And plus we've gotten so many of them recently, Crawford and Bud, Canelo and Plant, Gervonta Davis and Cruz. It's just been too many pay-per-views recently, and I think we just need a pay-per-view break. Even though this is not as expensive, it's still pricey right now for most people, all right? But anyway, I think that's the major issue right now with this card is the fact that it's a pay-per-view. I don't think people have an issue with the card because you got a bunch of heavyweight fights, and I like the card. You got Coffey against Rice, rematch. You got Frank Sanchez on the card. You got Gerald Washington on the card. You got good fighters on the card. Good fights is on this card. So I definitely would love to tune in. But again, most people are not feeling it because it's a pay-per-view. But let's go on with the fight. Luis Ortiz, Charles Martin. Charles, I walk this earth like a god. Martin, all right? Love that. One of the all-time favorite quotes from any boxer. I'm being serious. Like, I thought that quote, you just got to watch it every now and then, man. I just was watching it today, because it's just crazy. The confidence of Charles Martin going into that Anthony Joshua fight. I never had that much confidence in my life in anything. But, yo, let's talk about this fight, man. It's a dope fight. I really like the fight. Luis Ortiz he's coming off of a win against Alexander Flores, but it wasn't really, it's a pretty irrelevant fight because Flores went in there, and this is pretty much a tune-up. This is a year after Luis Ortiz lost to Wilder in the rematch, right? So he loses to Wilder in the rematch, gets stopped, fights Alexander Flores. Flores gets knocked down by like a phantom punch. I don't remember. I didn't go back and watch it again, but it was like a phantom punch. Most people felt that he took a dive and the fight ended in one round. It wasn't even a tune-up, really. So Luis Ortiz, in my opinion, he's basically 2 years without a fight. Plus, he's 42 years old, all right? So with all that being said, he's a little bit rusty. And you have Charles Martin, who's coming off his biggest win against Gerald Washington. I think it was early last year. And matter of fact, I was just looking it up. Let me get it right. Yeah, so it was the beginning of last year. So he's pushing 2 years without a fight. But he's coming off his biggest win against Gerald Washington. Now, outside of that fight, he lost his other two biggest fights. All right, you had the Kanowski fight, and then you had the Anthony Joshua fight where he lost in the second round. All right, he lost to Kanowski, but it was a great fight. I remember 2018. That was actually one of the best heavyweight fights that year. All right, it was a good scrap, a good war, but Charles Martin lost that one. All right, but he's been on a nice little streak, picked up 3 wins, and now he is fighting Luis Ortiz. And to be honest, I think people are not giving Charles Martin much of a chance, and I think they should, based on the fact that Ortiz is inactive and he's 42 years old. We just saw what happened with Manny Pacquiao against Yordenis Ugas, all right? 42, went 2 years without a fight. Similar situation right here, all right? I know Luis Ortiz ain't Manny Pacquiao. I'm not even trying to say Ugas or Charles Martin is a Ugas. But what I'm trying to say is 2 years older, in your 40s, inactive, not a real good look. All right. Plus, as much as I love Luis Ortiz, can't front. He did pop dirty on tests twice in the past. So you never really know, not saying he's juicing or anything now. What I'm saying is when he was at his prime, when he was at his peak, you got to always question whether or not he was on it or not. Was he on his cycle? Was he not on the cycle? All right. So how good is he? A lot of people still don't know. Still a lot of question marks out there because outside of the Wilder fight, who did he really beat? You know, I think the Brandon Jennings stoppage was probably his best win. Every other win after that, besides that, it's just been really okay wins. You know, average wins. You know, Christian Hammer, average win. You know, David Allen, average win. Malik Scott, you know, not a good win because of the way Malik fought in that fight. You know, but that's another story. And then you have Brian Jennings, who's probably his best win at the time because Brian only had one loss to Klitschko. But Brian hasn't really done anything major since losing to Luis Ortiz, right? So I think, to be honest, I think it go either way. You got Charles Martin, who's much younger. All right, he's a southpaw. Neither one of them, as far as professionally, have much going on with southpaws. I don't even think Charles Martin has been in the ring with another southpaw, and Luis Ortiz hasn't been in the ring with another southpaw since Tony Thompson. All right, who was much older at that time. He was an older guy at that time, and he was on his last days as a boxer professionally, and you know, Ortiz dominated him. But again, Tony was mad old in that fight, you know, didn't really have much to offer for Luis Ortiz, who was a beast at that time. And he was on the come up, you know, doing his thing. So really couldn't find much footage to really go by when it comes to southpaw versus southpaw. All right. It's basically like watching two orthodox fighters fight each other. But if there's no footage, I know how Charles Martin likes to land that straight left. That's his punch. That's his money punch. That's what he caught Gerald Washington with. All right. When I was watching that fight, I did get some of that fight, did my own little film study in that fight. And that's his punch. That's his money punch. You know, he was very aggressive in that fight. And he's been a little aggressive since the loss of Joshua. I think Joshua, when I look at that fight, I remember looking at it earlier this year because, you know, I was trying to find footage of Joshua fighting a southpaw leading up to the Usyk fight. But I remember Charles, as confident as he was leading up to the fight, he didn't look confident in the ring at all. As soon as the bell rung, he didn't have that same swagger that he had when he fought Gerald Washington recently, you know. So I was trying to find footage, couldn't really find none. So we just gotta wait and see how he looks against another southpaw and Luis Ortiz, all right? But Ortiz, again, age factor. Still think that he's the better technician. Always thought he had the better all-around boxing ability, better angles, more tools, better punch selection, better timing. You know what I'm saying? Probably even more experience as an amateur. I just think overall Luis Ortiz is probably the better boxer between the two. It's just that Luis Ortiz is a hell of a lot older and he's more inactive than Charles Martin. All right. So the way I see it right now, I actually believe Charles Martin has a better chance of getting the stoppage because he is a power puncher. He has a high KO ratio, so he can punch. He can stop guys, all right? I know he hasn't fought the super or hasn't won against the super elite. He fought Joshua, who's a super elite, all right? But he lost pretty easily in that fight. Now, Ortiz, on the other hand, what I have noticed is, you know, not just the Wilder fight, because Wilder hits hard as hell. He can hurt anybody. But I even remember watching the Christian Hammer fight, a fight that I actually attended live. And I remember when he got caught, and I'm talking about Ortiz, when he got caught a couple of times by Christian Hammer, Hammer was able to, you know, he lost clearly. But the couple of times he caught Ortiz clean, you know, he rocked him a little bit, wobbled him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Ortiz is capable of getting rocked. And Martin has the power to do it. It's just that Martin, in my opinion, needs to play it safe early. You know, you want to you want to get the older fighter into the later rounds. All right. Then become a little bit more aggressive. He can't come in this fight trying to fight him like the way he fought Gerald Washington. You know what I'm saying? Ortiz is way too much of a good a counterpuncher to do that. All right, so I think you want to draw Ortiz out, try to get him later, similar to how Wilder did in both of those fights. You know, Wilder was patient, very patient in the second fight. He gave up all the rounds, but you saw how he connected. Same thing with Gerald Washington. Never had great conditioning. Wilder, after the fourth round, you saw a dramatic change in Gerald Washington, and that's when Wilder went for the attack. All right, so if you're going to take on Luis Ortiz, you want to draw him out a bit. Don't get him while he's fresh. Get him later when he starts sleeping on the defense. That's exactly how Wilder caught him in that rematch, right? The defense has got caught slipping. You know what I'm saying? Didn't know it straight. Thought shot was coming that was going to loop around the guard. He was preparing for it. He wasn't preparing for the shot that was coming straight towards him. You know what I'm saying? So Charles Martin needs to drag it out. Then become aggressive. Use that youthful advantage that you have against Luis Ortiz, the older Luis Ortiz. All right, and that's I think that's his chances of either getting a stoppage or just winning more rounds with being the aggressive later. Luis Ortiz, on the other hand, I see him being a better boxer, winning more rounds, landing more shots. You know, it's just that, can he hurt Charles Martin? I don't know. He has the power. They both have power. He's definitely capable of doing it. But I can see Ortiz, being that he's an older man, being that he's inactive, being that he's slower, I don't think he's as aggressive as the way he used to be in those earlier fights that I mentioned earlier. He's not that guy. He's still probably very good. He came in tremendous shape against Wilder in a rematch, the best shape that he can be in at this current state of his career, but it still wasn't enough. Now, Charles Martin is no Deontay Wilder, but Charles Martin is still dangerous. He's a big dude. He has power, you know what I'm saying? And he knows how to use the power. So I personally think this is a 50-50 fight. I know most people are probably leaning towards Ortiz because he just probably done better against a better opposition. But he is also older and he's very inactive right now. Very inactive, you know, and technically, in my opinion, he's coming off of a stoppage loss. So I'm not really sure. I'm really 50-50 with this fight. I think it's a toss-up. I can see either Ortiz winning on points, or I can see Martin winning by a stoppage by hurting Ortiz late. Don't sleep on Martin. I'm telling y'all, don't sleep on him. I'm going to roll with my guy Ortiz only because I'm just going to go with the better boxer. Even though he's older, I'm going to go with him. I think those are the two options. Ortiz by decision, Martin by knockout. Those are the way I see it. I'm going to go with the older Ortiz. Plus, that's my guy. I like Martin too. He's cool. But I'm rooting for my guy Ortiz to win this one. All right? So that's my pick. Make sure you subscribe again. Like the video. Share the video. And I'll see you guys. And if I can do the live commentary, I will try to jump on. All right? Peace.